Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Instacar HK. Today we are reviewing a very rare and special car, being this 1992 Jaguar XJ220. Wow, this is really a treat. Never have I imagined I will be reviewing an XJ220 one day. Now, all of you will have known about the XJ220, but you may not be that filled in with the background story about how it came up and all that. So let me fill you in on that first. The Jaguar XJ220 actually started as a sort of passion weekend project by Jaguar engineers back in the 80s, because in the 80s Jaguar was enjoying a lot of success in their racing with their XJS 12-cylinder and their XJR cars. So they really wanted a flagship hyper iconic car in their lineup, which became this. So the car was actually not 100% developed by Jaguar themselves. At the time, Jaguar actually had a partnership with a racing company and racing engineering company, TWR, for their racing series. So this car was actually co-developed with TWR. Again, on the weekends, it was a passion project. You know, the engineers got together every Saturday and whatnot to make what they want to be the fastest car in the world. And they did indeed make the fastest car in the world by then, which I'll get to later. So when they launched the prototype in 1988, the car was an immediate success. People, you know, the attraction and the attention it got went through the roof. Jaguar was always intended to make this a limited edition car. They were just going to make a few hundred of them. But that launch, they got 1,500 deposits, 1,500 orders and deposits. Each deposit costing £50,000. 50,000 pounds in 1988, that is a lot of money. However, as some of you may know, shortly after the car did hit some controversy, and that is, in the beginning, Jaguar promised or people expected a V12 engine for their top-of-the-line flagship hypercar. But shortly after, when they really started to design the car, they realized that the V12 engine wasn't suitable because they were intending to make the fastest car in the world, but things like tire technology, for example, at the time just wouldn't allow it because the V12 was simply too heavy. And also, as you can see, the Jaguar 220 is a very long car. And if they were to put a V12 engine in it, it would make it even longer, which would have simply been impractical. So in the end, they came out instead with a 3.5-liter V6 twin-turbo engine. Now, legend has it that once people knew that it was a V6, they were immediately disappointed and withdrew their orders. So in the end, they actually didn't make 1,500 units. Instead, they only made 200. There are different quotes out there, but the range is always about 270 to 280 units. Now, one fact though is actually the car was launched in the early 90s. It was hit right at the middle of the 90s recession. So that actually affected a lot of people withdrawing their orders as well. It's not really just because of the V12 engine. In fact, I heard that all the people who put in their deposit were not able to get them back because apparently the spec sheet did early on say it was going to be a V6 engine. In any event, once the car was released, Jaguar did indeed release the fastest car in the world at that time because, as the name suggests, the top speed of this car actually goes to 220 miles per hour. I think the real figure was 217. I think they ran out of road or something, but they rounded it up, which was fair. So for between 1992 and 1993, when the car was out and in production, it was indeed the world's fastest car. That was, of course, until the McLaren F1 was launched. So unfortunately, all in all, when the car was first launched, it was a flop. It was a flop. It didn't succeed due to the recession, due to the V12 controversy. And Jaguar actually had to sell them at a discount. Even at 200 odd units, they had to sell them at a discount. They sold it at a discount to dealers and whatnot. So it really didn't make the impact that they wanted to, despite it being a very good car. And a very good car it is, because now in the last 10, 15 years, people started realizing that, hey, V12 or not, this car is actually a very good car. And in fact, the lighter V6 engine actually is a lot more suitable. Gives the car a lot more dynamic, is more well-balanced, it's very fast, as we'll find out later. Fortunately, now the car finally gets the attention and most importantly, the values that it deserves, as this car now is easily a £500,000 car, £500,000+ pound car. Now, when you look at the XJ220, immediately you know this is a special car that means business. It's not your usual supercar. Just look at the shape of it. Look at the length of it. Very smooth lines, very smooth lines. Clearly aerodynamic focus. You see these huge fends in the front. You look into it, you see the radiator. Very low and smooth car. It's very slippery, I would imagine. And what I love about it are these wheels. These wheel designs. I'm sure there are some aerodynamic purposes for it, but it's very brave to do wheels like wheel cap design sort of, but it fits so perfectly. And the car has aged so well. It has aged so well. If this car is released tomorrow, you believe it's a brand new car. You would not believe it's a car from 1992. And then come to the engine. It's a very small compact engine, so you know it's not BS when they said they didn't want a V12 engine because it would be too long and too heavy. This is a very compact 3.5 liter V6 twin turbo engine producing 540 horsepower, which is plenty enough for a car of this size and weight. 0 to 60, 3.8 seconds. In 1992, 3.8 seconds. That is pretty impressive. Then the transmission is actually at the back. So in some ways, it's kind of like the reverse of the Lamborghini Countach, where the transmission comes first, then engine. This one's reverse. So the transmission ends about here, and the rest of this is just for aerodynamic purposes. So this long rear is all for aerodynamic purposes with a very nice wing. And there is a tiny, ever so tiny boot space here, which with the V12 will have never been able to make it happen, but very shallow boot space. The owner got some of his files here. There's a CD changer. It's a car that the day it came out, you know it's something special. And even though it was initially a flop, I think everyone in their mind had an expectation that one day it will come back with a huge hit, and it did. Beautiful car. Before we dive deeper into the XJ220, I have an announcement to make, and that is we have a sponsor! Yes, finally, years after I've started this channel, we finally have a proper sponsor. And the company that's sponsoring us, Nove Watch. Yes, it's a watch company which goes very well with a classic car channel. Now, one interesting thing about the Nove Watch sponsorship is that the owner of Nove is actually also the owner of the XJ220 that we're reviewing today and the Lamborghini Diablo Roadster that we reviewed last episode. So needless to say, the owner of Nove is a proper fellow petrol head, and which got me very interested and excited about this brand because, as we all know, there are many car enthusiasts who are also watch enthusiasts. We all like the engineering and the design of cars and watches. I myself is somewhat of a watch collector and fan as well. So yeah, this brand being owned by a proper petrol head, I think is really appropriate and quite interesting. Their product line has diving watches, casual watches, dress watches, and of course, automotive design inspired watches. And when Nove first approached me about this sponsorship and collaboration, they very kindly asked me to pick any watches from their website to do this first sponsoring episode with. And I deliberately did it without looking at any of the prices or description. I just look at the pictures and pick the one I like most, which is this one, the Moderna chronograph. And as luck would have it, this is one of their automotive design inspired watches. As you can see, the typical chronograph design layout watch, and the design is very delicate. The chronograph's very delicate with double stacked rings. It does remind me a bit of some of the speedometers of the classic cars that I've seen before. The bezel also have these brake caliper looking locks on both sides. It got a pretty good weight to it and a pretty good size. It's a 44 mm with curved sapphire crystal, as you do. Now Nove does make automatic watches, but this one that I picked is on batteries, and the battery life in this is 3+ years. It has 200 meters water resistance, and it also has 2-year warranty. And most importantly, it has a Swiss Ronda Z60 movement, which means that it has the proper Swiss movement to go with its awesome looks. Their watches range from $500 to just under $2,000. This one that I picked is 640. So if you have any interest in Nove watches, please do check out their website. The link is in the description of this video. And a gift for you all is that there's a promo code specific to Instacar HK, which can get you 20% off on all products in their website. So do check it out, and depending on the response from this episode, we may do a lucky draw where we'll give out a free Nove watch on my Instagram account in the near future. So do check out my Instagram, do keep an eye on that at Instacar HK. Right, time to go for a drive. Really nervous and excited at the same time. I really never ever dreamed of being behind the wheels of one. So this is really an amazing opportunity. Right off the bat, you know it's a special car. You know, just the moment you step in it. It looks nothing like anything else on the road, in period or otherwise. And you sit very deep somehow, like you're like going into a F1 cockpit almost. But at the same time, the side seals are not uncomfortably high, or you don't feel like, you can't see the dashboard, but you just really feel like you're getting cocooned into the cockpit. And very thick doors, and the view is, it's just a really new feeling, because the visibility is good. Very long front glass and very large side windows. But at the same time, it's low, but you don't feel being locked in a small space. So I don't know how to explain. I guess this is what a fighter jet would feel like. But basically, it feels small, yet it feels spacious at the same time, if you get what I mean. Doesn't look too wide, doesn't feel too wide. Now, the car is obviously extremely long, but we're not parking in a tight spot or anything, so I don't really feel that yet. Anyway, let's start. So the start is you turn the key, and then you press the red button. And we're on. 5-speed manual with a conventional H pattern, fly-off handbrake. I've been told by the owner the car doesn't like low rev, so try to get it on the highway and change gears above 2,500 revs as soon as possible. So let's do just that. The clutch is firm, but not wow, super heavy. But it's firm, so it's not a light clutch for sure. Okay, fly-off handbrake. We're in a bit of a slope, so let's test my skills. Needs some getting used to, because the gas pedal is a little, how do I say, it doesn't feel that linear. It's a bit stuttery at low revs. So yeah, it needs a bit of fettering. But the fact that the car is so uncomfortable in low revs shows you what sort of racing DNA racing engine it has. Speaking of engine, as mentioned, it has a 3.5 liter V6 twin turbo, which, if you think about it, Jaguar was actually quite ahead of its time. Yes, they got bashed for not having the V12, but what engine do we have these days in your Formula 1 cars, in your Ferraris? V6 twin turbo, some of them 3.5 liter. So it's quite ahead of its time, and I'm really looking forward to it. I've been told the turbo comes very suddenly and aggressively. So you're going from 200 something horsepower under 4,000 RPM, and suddenly, bam, you're at 540. Let's see how it is later. I will take it easy. It's a very valuable car. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to going into the open roads and see how it behaves. So we're starting to get on the open roads now, but it's not an easy car to drive. Just now in the last set of lights, I did stall, and then when I was getting a bit nervous, to get the car going, I stalled again. And I never stalled on this channel. Dave, our cameraman, was very kind to me and didn't get that on film. He didn't want to embarrass me, but it's okay. I admit my mistake. So actually, yeah, it's the first time I've stalled a car while reviewing on Instacar HK. So it is not an easy car to drive. You just need to get used to it. I don't think all owners stall every time. car really doesn't like low revs. I mean, that was really true advice from the owner. Aircon is very good, by the way, so at least that's comfortable. I'm not, you know, sweating and whatnot. But having some km under my belt now, the ride is all right. I mean, it's obviously not a Rolls Royce, but you don't feel like you are in a rattling cage. But one thing is the rear view mirrors. I was looking at it just now. It's not too small. It's not really small, but it's quite difficult to look at because it's on the front fender, I believe, which is quite wide, and the doors are quite thick. So it's not that you have to really look twice to look at your side. But anyway, some open roads now, we're at 3,500 RPM. Let's give it some beans. Let's see if we can do 220 miles per hour, as the name suggests. Of course not, but all right, now it's straightening up. Okay, let's go. Okay, I'm taking it easy, but you do feel the car has a lot of power and a lot in reserve. When the turbo hits, that's where the power comes out. Pretty long geared. I'm only at 4th gear now. Oh, it goes! Okay, going from high speed, I mean the brakes works, but you do get reminded that it's a 90s brakes. These are 90s brakes, so you don't get the immediate confidence that you get in modern cars. Honestly, having heard of stories of this car, I don't really dare to do the, you know, bam it in 2nd gear and let's go, bam, that kind of thing. I'm just thinking I'm more linear, but even then, the power is quite impressive. You know this car means business. It's not your usual, you know, supercar. This is a proper hypercar. Oh! Full throttle! Red line! Some naughty speed, so I need to slow down a bit. The gear shift, it looks like a very short gear shift, but it does have longer throw than I expected. It's not exactly your very short race car like gear shifts. It does take a bit of finding, a little bit of finding around when you're not used to the car. Now I notice, again, I'm not going red line every gear full throttle, but I notice when you change gears, and once I let go of the gas pedal to change gears, if the rev drops below 3.5 and you go back, you know, go to 4th gear and you go back on the gas pedal, there is an immediate turbo lag. So to keep this car running in its best spot, you really have to drive it at high revs to keep it at its optimal range. Again, I'm taking it easy, so every time I change gears, the moment I get back on the gas, there is a bit of turbo lag because I've let the revs drop to below 4,000, 3.5. So yeah, this really is a race car. It's really meant to be a race car, this thing. You'll have to drive it like one. So we're about to get to our destination, so it's time to really sum it up. First of all, the feel. The car is, you know, very lavish with nice leather, aircon and whatnot, but it's not an easy car to drive. The steering, very good size, very good feel to it as you expect from cars of this era. The pedals, you know, good weight to it. Like I said, the clutch is firm but not too heavy. But one thing I'm really impressed is the ergonomics of the whole car. When you sit in it, it feels like quite a normal sports car. You don't, you know, just because it's a hypercar designed for racing and whatever, you don't have that all really slanted to the left or sitting very awkwardly. Actually, the seating position and the driving position is actually very normal, which I'm very impressed with. Speed, I was taking it easy, but you feel the power, man. When the turbo comes in, you feel like there's a lot of power. The car really wants to go faster. It really wants to release its power more. But you know, it's a very valuable car, a very rare car. We're talking about 270 to 280 units only. I'm not about to do something stupid in this car because it's been such an honor. It's been such an honor driving the XJ220. This car was obviously a unicorn level car the day it came out. But I do have some connection to it. I remember clearly, I was a kid in 1992, but the Maestro die-cast car actually came out with a lot of the XJ220 model. I remember my friend had a 1:12 scale model that was super cool. I myself had the 118 or 124 model. So this car meant a lot, man. This car when it first came out. And actually, in period, in 1992, my dad had an acquaintance. This guy who actually, I remember he did lights. He sold lights, you know, for buildings. He had a shop. And that guy, that uncle, actually bought an XJ220 brand new back then and had it on T-plates. It was silver. But unfortunately, I never met that car before. You know, those days weren't so easy. People don't take it out, obviously. And even when you see that uncle, you know, outside, it's not like today where he could just whip out his iPhone and show you the pictures. It wasn't like that. So I never actually got to meet the XJ220 in the flesh. Now, 30 years later, being able to review one, being able to drive one, be behind the wheels of one, it's kind of like full circle and a huge bucket list item for me. So I'm actually very, very happy. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I love this car. If you did, please give us a like, please subscribe. Please remember to click the bell button next to the subscribe button so you know when our next video is. Thank you and have a good day. Ah!